I've seen some discussions online more recently about younger people and their finances, and honestly, I'm just super happy to see that people are interested in this and they actually want to prepare themselves for things that are coming up in their life. When you are in your late teens, early 20s, there are going to be a lot of transitions that I think are going to be eye-opening as you transition from probably living with your parents, where a lot of the expenses are essentially subsidized and paid for you, to now seeing how those things come through and how to handle them. Like a lot of things with finances, the main thing is going to be planning for those things, and awareness is really the biggest step. So talking about a few of those first main ones, the big one I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about, especially out of high school, is going to be going to college. And so the big ticket items are the ones that are going to be easy to think of. You have tuition coming up, rent. One thing I actually learned in college and was really emphasized after the fact was that there's a lot of scholarships and tuition assistance things that go unapplied for. Some of the boards said that they were willing to give like five scholarships out, and they only had three applicants. So what I would say is just cast a very wide net here. A lot of Google searching and honestly AI can now help you find scholarships, and similar to like job applications, it's a numbers game. So apply to as many things as you can. You'll probably be disqualified for certain things. A lot of scholarships are given to certain demographics or certain people, which is great to support that. But if they're low on applicants, they may just give it to you anyways, and it's free money. If you think about working at a job for $15 an hour and then you get a $500 scholarship, it may seem very small, but the amount of time that goes into writing that one-page application or paragraph, you're making thousands of dollars an hour just for that one application, which is absolutely fantastic. The other things for schooling as well is community college. You don't need to go directly into a full-on university, especially with those first 1 to 2.5 years being mostly gen eds. I went to community college and it was an absolutely great experience. I was able to live at home. I was able to work locally. And then my classes were also very small. So I was getting very smaller, almost one-on-one with my instructors. And I made some really good friends there. After that, I did transition to a full-on university for my master's degree as well. So it's a great option as well, but you're going to end up paying the cost because those classes do go for a lot more per credit. School tuition here is definitely the biggest ticket item on the list. And unfortunately, right now, we're sweeping a lot of it under the rug and delaying it with student loans and student debt. It's become almost standard now for people to take out 20, 30, $40,000 plus loans. And I don't know if we really see the full implications of that until we get into the job market after graduation, where just meeting minimum payments is difficult. And of course, meeting minimum payments means extremely long payoff schedules. So if there's anything that I could re-emphasize would be watch that, try to avoid that at any costs. If you can work during the summers or even work during school as well and cash flow as much of it as possible. And then the community college aspect as well. Some community colleges now are free just for attending. So that can save you upwards of $15,000 a year in in-state tuition, let alone out-of-state tuition where it's even more. And even if community college isn't free, mostly it's going to be in the less than $5,000 a semester range, which is substantially cheaper and easier to pay off than a $15,000 to $30,000 tuition. Moving on to the next one, the biggest one that's probably going to have the most impact day to day is going to be the rental situation. Moving out of a parent's house and moving into an apartment is definitely a cool transition. Usually you're going to college with friends or you're meeting new ones as you join. And it's a very cool life event. So I don't want to put that as a pessimistic view. But what I would say is that be cautious with the monthly payment. There's going to be so many added charges that you're not aware of when you're first signing up for housing, and it's going to be for the rest of your life, honestly. Anytime you get into owning a home or renting a home, it's going to have additional fees that are tacked on outside of just the normal month-to-month cost. And so if you see an apartment for $1,100 a month, you have to realize that there's going to be renter's insurance, there's going to be security deposits, there's going to be utilities. There's going to be a lot more expenses that come with it, and that may balloon outside of what you can actually afford. So be cognizant, Don't go too crazy with your first apartment. And honestly, it's college, so you're going to have good experiences and bad experiences, and you don't want finances to be that stressor that makes it not fun. Uh, a lot of people will go into college and share apartments with roommates. That's a great way to subsidize some of the costs and spread it out between friends. Some places you're able to get an apartment room for a few $100s. Other places in bigger cities, you're going to spend in the thousands. So you just have to know your market and cut back where you can. Now that we've made it through the two biggest ticket items, we mentioned some of the other smaller things that come with those, especially when you're talking about renters insurance and utilities. Those are going to be coming frequently every month. And there's additional items as well. So when you're getting into school, you're going to have a lot of sign up fees. You're going to have to get books and supplies. Most people are getting laptops and electronics. And then, of course, your day-to-day transportation, you have food. A lot of these expenses, I think we take for granted when we're with our parents, and then they really stack up as we have to take them on ourselves. One thing to eliminate some of these is going to be cutting down on how much you're eating out and how much you're ordering in. If you can do meal prep yourself, you can drastically cut down the expenses there. You can go and buy groceries and cook yourself for a couple $100s for a week, when if you're buying $20, $30, $40 DoorDashes, those are going to add up really quickly, and those can happen multiple times a day. So there are ways to cut back and to be as frugal as possible and to save your money. And the important part there is going to allow you to spend it where you want, rather than having automatic transactions that are just going to pull from your account, such as like a high rent or utilities that are maybe more than what you should be spending. You can save that money and hang out with friends, or potentially go on a vacation in the summer. Things like that, where you're going to get true enjoyment out of it and not just pay frivolously for things that you can cut back on. I'm honestly so happy just to see younger people getting into and interested in finances. And a lot of these posts that I've seen online are exactly that. It's people understanding that there's going to be expenses coming up, and they're working hard for their money. So they want to make sure that it's utilized correctly and cut back where they can. And that's exactly where Simple Finances has been built to help support. You don't need to go through accounts day by day or transaction by transaction. You can sync your accounts in under 5 minutes, and then the platform will give you a full account review and help you get into those stages where you want. If you want to save more, you can. And if you want to plan for retirement, that's also there. So if you want to check out the easiest way to see all of your financials in one place and get a full account review, check out simplefinances.co. The link is in the description.